Hello, singers. Okay, we're going to be looking at the basic features for writing a concept essay. Now, let me go ahead and start you off with the writing assignment, which will be to write an essay about a concept that interests you and you want to study further. When you have a good understanding of the concept, explain it to your readers, considering carefully what they might already know about it and what your essay might add to what they already know. All right, let's start off with a focused explanation. Okay, now a focused explanation begins with reading first, learning as much as you can about the concept, understanding it. If you're not sure what a concept is or what concept you want to work with, on the website I have a very long list of concepts that you could choose from. It's very current. Students add to it every semester. I update it just about every semester. So if you're not sure what to write about, pick one of them and do research. Start reading on it. Become a mini expert on it. And then describe it. Give meaning to what this is, okay, to what this subject is that you're writing about. Think of it in terms of, and I'll talk about this in class a little bit too, and I'll describe it as a three-legged table, but here it's kind of, we have this picture of the magnifying lens. Consider each one of those lines, those A lines, an aspect, a different aspect of this subject. It's something that helps to describe, it's a part perhaps of the greater subject, the greater thing about this subject, which will help describe what it is. Okay, run a thread through all of these, and this is what will help give the picture, the big picture, to the reader. Okay, now listen, don't wait until the last minute. Pick an aspect, pick something, and start reading. You're going to need every minute you can to work with this. The next thing is the readable plan. Okay, so now this is divided. This is divided into topics. This requires this is the essay that will probably require the most preparation. This one and the next one, the common ground. You're going to need a clear and well organized outline. All right, you're going to need to logically inform your readers of what this subject is. We'll look at aspects a little closer next time, but just understand that I'm going to need for you to draw upon your skills, your writing skills, transitional sentences, your cueing, your forecasting, and you're moving from one topic to another seamlessly. It's got to make sense. The way I like to explain it is the dollhouse. So if I were to take the doll on the second floor, grab it and just stick it right in front of that first doll that's on the ground floor there, that doll from the second floor is going to probably be a little bit confused as to what it's doing all of a sudden on the first floor. However, if the doll were to walk across the floor, walk down the stairs, turn the corner, and face the doll, it'll make a whole lot more sense how they got there, okay, to that doll, if that's what happens instead of just jerking it down and putting it right in front of the other doll, okay? You want to make sure that this is a seamless process and that you guide your reader through your essay seamlessly and that it makes sense to them. Now, the next thing is the appropriate explanatory strategies. This is all about definition of key terms. This is about classification. We'll do a little more compare and contrast in the next essay, but just understand that you're going to start off with doing some of the things that you've already done as well, giving illustrations, details, anecdotes. You've done a lot of this already, but what I want you to understand is that this is going to be defining key terms, classifying, using vivid details, okay? And you're going to be doing a little bit of work out of the book, definitely some reading, a few exercises out of the book, and you're going to want to make sure that you follow up with those so that you get a better understanding of how to do this, okay? Because it's going to evolve in this one, in this essay. It's going to become something else, so make sure you follow up. And that leads us also to the smooth integration of sources. Now, this is probably the most important aspect of this essay writing. I'm going to have some very stringent rules. This is probably your first essay that you're going to do research on for this class. The next essay that you write, the common ground, you're also going to be doing research. So it's a good idea to get a handle on it now. Going forward, English classes don't get any easier. So you'll probably doing, if you take more English classes, and I suspect that you will, you're going to be doing research. And we're going to talk a little bit more about research, actually a lot more in class about research. But for now, understand that I'm going to be looking for you to do three things, okay? Excuse me, use three sources when you're integrating sources. Number one is a book, a good old-fashioned neat-space book found in a library. Okay, it should be an academic kind of book. It should have some sense of, of academic importance. An authoritative voice is what I'm looking for. The next thing is an academic journal. You can also find those in the library, but they are also available online. And if you look through on our class website, you'll find the library database. It's always up there, and you can click that, go onto the library database, and search academic journals to your heart's content until you find something that will work for you. The next thing is an online resource. So one online resource, and when I say online resource, let me be very clear about this. I'm not looking for a periodical or a magazine or anything like that. I want an authoritative voice. This should be an academic website. Your safe bet is the .gov, the .edus, the .orgs, the .nets. We'll cover sources in class a little bit more, and you'll see that sometimes these websites can get a little confusing, a little convoluted. Maybe they're not exactly what they are. If you're using a source and it looks a little bit suspicious, chances are it probably is. That's a good rule to follow. Now, these sources are a minimum, 3 sources minimum. I would suggest that you have at least 5 because you're going to really want to dig in and learn as much as you can about this subject before you start writing. So my advice is go with at least 5. But if you don't have at least 3, well then you're probably going to get gigged on your works cited page, okay, and on your essay for not meeting the sources minimum. The other thing is no commercial sites. I don't want any commercial sites to appear as a source in your essay, nor magazines, nor encyclopedias, nor dictionaries. And this goes back to what I was saying about the focused explanation. You're not going to want to use dictionaries, encyclopedia, or Wikipedia in order to explain or give a definition of what this subject is. That's just not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for you to break this subject down into 3 or 4 different aspects and give me a better understanding of what this subject is without using dictionary or encyclopedia terms. Wikipedia is a great source to start off with. You can scroll down to the bottom, you'll see notes, you'll see sources, you can jump around the internet and see what works for you. That's great, but you should not be using Wikipedia as a source. I don't want to see any of these things on your works cited page. And of course, every source must be properly cited in MLA format on a works cited page. Okay, speaking of that, this is probably the one essay where you're going to be tempted the most, perhaps, to plagiarize. In the past, this one and the Common Ground essay are the 2 where students do tend to plagiarize when they do. It's not a good idea. I've made my feelings very clear about plagiarism in the past, and I just want to remind you that this is stealing. Plain and simple, it is stealing. You take someone else's ideas and you use them as your own, it is stealing. So don't fall, for that temptation. Another thing that I do want to point out is this is also the essay where students tend to cannibalize their own work or plagiarize their own work. So let's take, for an example, you're taking a psychology class and you decide that you want to write about something about psychology. You're going to try and recycle an essay about some subject that you wrote in psychology, and you're just kind of going to cut and paste and move some things around and make it look like a concept essay. Well, I can tell from the years of experience that I've had, it never comes across as a concept essay. It just doesn't. Students aren't very good at it. So don't cannibalize your own work. Concept essays have these basic features, and I'm going to be looking for how well you adhere to those basic features. So cannibalizing from your own work, using a paper that you kind of wrote on a subject, it's not going to meet the requirements, and I'm going to know right off the bat that this is not the paper that I'm looking for, and you're going to end up not getting a very good grade. Okay, well, that's it. These are the basic features. That's the writing assignment. please write down whatever questions you might have, answer the questions that I have on the EdTed here. And if you do have any questions, please bring them to class so that we can discuss them further. See you then. Bye.